Adam Noble-Forsey here for Pro Boxing Fans, coming at you with an audio interview with Australian boxing promoter, manager, Tony Tolj. How are you, Tony?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Not bad, not bad. I've been better. We're all getting locked up a bit. Luckily, I'm in Latvia at the moment. We've still got a bit of movement out here. What's going on in Australia, mate, with all this coronavirus stuff? What's going on there?
A lot of television viewing at the moment from all the boxing industry. There's not much going on. We're all pretty much stuck at home. Can't really go out anywhere. Just anyone's got to go to work, but all the gyms are shut. We're allowing PTs outdoors in groups of 10 people, calling it boot camps. But now that's as of today, that's been reduced to only 2 people at a time outdoors.
Yeah, that seems to be that's it. That's just happened in Latvia, actually. The two people outdoors thing, mate. What? So, like, obviously, we were having a little chat before we started recording about our worries about. Obviously, you're a business owner. I run a very small business. Where do you start, man? Like, how are you dealing with this? So, like, away, not even thinking about boxing, just thinking about business, getting bills paid, like, this is what you do full time. What's your headspace at the moment? What's going through your mind today? Like, this is a new thing.
At the moment, just trying to work out what's the best TV show to watch. There's not much else I can do at the moment.
Yeah. So, are you getting like any information from? Or because you had a show planned. I'm sorry about the dates. You had a show in Perth planned, and I was watching.
I had a show, luckily for us and the whole industry in Perth where I live. We had the show on the 6th of March, and then a week later is when pretty much the writing was on the wall and everything was getting shut down.
Shit, man. So you're in limbo, basically, like everyone else. Are you trying to come up with some sort of idea? I suppose there's nothing you can really do. I know, like, some promoters, Bob Arum was talking about doing shows in the studio. Obviously, you've got the Moloney brothers with Top Rank. Is anything like that going through your mind at the moment?
Yeah, but in the same sort of scenario, you can only have a couple people in groups. So there's boxing's on standby here at the moment, and same with we're waiting for Jason and Andrew to get for what's going to happen in America. So we're going to watch all the different news outlets, what's happening all across the world. And as lucky as well, like I was saying, we've done the show the 6th of March, but the week later was the 14th of March, and we had an event in Chile as well. Yes, and I couldn't go there because of flight restrictions and all that kind of stuff. But literally, I think 1 or 2 days after the show is when everything got locked down.
Wow! So the show in Chile went ahead, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, okay, that's good. At least. So what's the situation in Chile? Anyone listening, me and Tony did plan to do a interview on what you were doing in South America, but we're going to involve that. Obviously, a lot of other stuff's been going on. So yeah, what's the situation with coronavirus in Chile? Are they on complete lockdown or not yet?
I think it's the same sort of thing as Australia. All their flights are shut down. Only, I think they can only go out for like necessary stuff like food, and I'm not sure about what other if schools are shut or not. Okay. This must be like this in terms of your Chile thing. We were talking about this South American adventure. Obviously, it was Andrew Moloney that went out there, wasn't it, and knocked out that guy for the WBA #1 spot. That's correct, isn't it? If I remember correctly. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Miguel Gonzalez.
That's it. So obviously, since then, you've sort of planted your flag in Chile and starting to do shows there. You said you were very impressed by the crowd and the reaction and the passion of the people about boxing. We'll move away from yeah, go on, mate.
I was just going to say, just the people in general, and I'll explain everything from the start. It's we got. I was actually working on a couple of years to get that Miguel Gonzalez, who was at the time I think the number 2 in the world, and yeah, they just wouldn't fight, and lobbying, and we fought. I think Rene Daquel from the Philippines, he was the world number 5. Then Andrew beat him. Then we fought Luis Concepcion, multi-time world champion, and I think he was number 4 at the time. So we beat a couple of top 5 rated guys, and then we put a bit of pressure, and we got the fight with Miguel Gonzalez, but he pretty much refused to come over here. And I just wanted Andrew to get that experience as well, being, I believe in all of his abilities, and I thought we can go there and beat him either on points or stoppage, and that's what he done. He knocked him out over there. But it all started when we got the call up, so it was done, and then we needed sparring partners, and Andrew actually spoke with that Andreas, who we also manage now through Instagram, and we teed up some sparring that way. And we went over there, and Andreas is the fighter, but he's his friend and I don't know what you call it, like an advisor, sponsor. His name's Nicholas the Maverick Martinez, and they all looked after us like we were kings. And we couldn't ask any more. The hospitality was amazing. Nothing was too hard to get. Whether it was, they helped us with drivers over there, with saunas. We're staying at a 5-star casino in Chile, and 2 of the saunas burned down. So we had to drive to get to the sauna to make weight 40 minutes.
Whoa. So,
and then when we got there, the sauna wasn't even hot enough, so there had to be a guy there manually with a screwdriver holding the temperature gauge to get it to the right level.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, well, they got it done for you though. They got the job done in the end.
That's right.
Excellent.
But yeah,
go on, mate.
And that was the connection. So they looked after us like you would have believed, and all those 1%ers helped get everything over the line. And Andrew knocked out Gonzalez. We got the WBA eliminator, and because of that, and Jason's good performance against Manny Rodriguez, and just the pedigree of the boys, we got signed up with Top Rank, and since that time, Andrew's become the world champion.
Yes.
And I believe in when someone helps you, you got to help them even more. And we've just helped and trying to establish Chile just the right foundation, how to promote. And I'm managing a few guys over there.
Yeah,
since that sparring session with Andrew and Andreas, he's now become the Chilean national champion. And then the next fight, he became the WBA Federbowl champion. And his last fight, he defended that title and also added the WBO Latino title. So I'm hoping he should be in the world ratings in the next fight, next set of ratings when they come out as well.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Obviously, so we've got both the boys, Andrew and Jason Moloney, were snapped up by Bob Arum and Top Rank. I forget how many months ago now. It was about 6 months ago, was it not? A few months ago. They got signed up. Tell us about...
Basically, it was then...
Yeah, go on, mate.
Basically, it was the end of May, June last year.
Oh,
and... So, it was a while ago. Then we arranged to have our first fight in Australia, which got pushed back for a couple of reasons. And that's when Andrew ended up fighting for the world title against Elton Dari, and then Jason fought a number 10 in the WBA, Dixon Flores. And yeah, we were set to come over to the States in the next for the next show, and they wanted to make a big impact, so they put us on big events in America. One was co-featured Anui and Casemiro.
Yeah, I was really
so
looking forward to that.
So there would have been 3 world titles there. And then 8 days before that, there's going to be Andrew Moloney defending his world title as the main event on an ESPN show in Oklahoma.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame that's been postponed, hopefully. At the moment, what I found interesting, Bob Arum was one of the first people to come out and talk about doing studio shows. Obviously, there are problems that come up with that, but people are talking like that's a potentially a good way to continue the sport and get people fighting again. Obviously, you're a promoter yourself in Australia. Did you know anything about this? What's going on with the studio shows, or is this just people are just talking, thinking aloud at the moment? What do you think of all this, Tony? These studio shows.
I'm open for anything to get any of the guys' fights, because they all need fights to survive. So, I'm happy and open to that. But it's even difficult with Top Rank because they're not even sure what the restrictions are, because with daily press conferences from Trump, it all continually changes. So you got to form a strategy to your guidelines, but your guidelines keep on changing. So, it's difficult for all those guys. Yeah. And, I don't even want to put any pressure on them, because I'm watching the press conferences as well. And, to work out what is happening. And, it just changes hour by hour and day by day.
Yeah, so you're just sitting and waiting. Yeah, it's tough, man. In terms of your telephone, how often it rings? I imagine with no coronavirus, your phone is non-stop. Anyone just has to have a mere glance at your social media and can see all the hard work you're putting in. What are you getting like? Are you getting any tough phone calls from colleagues, co-promoters, managers of fighters sort of pressuring you to find out what's going on, but you're in a position where you don't really know what's going on because you're waiting, the situation changes every day? Or are people quite understanding about it? What's that like?
People are quite understanding, and I'm normally the opposite. I don't. The fighters aren't chasing me. I'm the one that's telling them, keeping them updated of what's happening.
Okay,
and
I got it. Yeah, cool.
Just letting them know what the situation is.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, me. Yes.
I've been doing a bit of work as well. I've been in talks with some younger talent that might be signing as well. This is in Europe, so
really?
My phone's on 24/7. Literally always ringing or something's happening.
Crazy, man. That is crazy. So
it's funny.
Yeah, go on, man.
I was going to say it's funny as well when there's like literally nothing to do with the boxing. I'm just that much of a workaholic that I find a way to do something, and even if it's a little thing, it's still something. Like Jason Moloney fought in the World Boxing Super Series, and he got in his social media. He got the illustrious blue tick, the verified tick.
Yes.
But Andrew never had that. And I always like to make sure everyone's equal. No one's sort of favoured.
Yeah.
And now that he's the world champion, it took a while, but just the other day I got him the blue tick and he was over the moon.
Good stuff. I need to try and get one. You need to get yourself. Have you got a blue tick, Tony? You need to get yourself one of those if you haven't got one already. Do you not
No,
have
I
one?
haven't got one yet. I just want to make sure the fighter's got it first, and then I'm just the guy in the background.
Some promoters wouldn't be so wouldn't do the same, but yeah, we'll start a campaign for Tony to get his blue tick. Okay, well, so you're still finding a way to get something done. That's amazing, man. That's really cool to hear you doing that, getting the guys verified and that on Twitter. How are the Moloney boys? How are they coping with all this? You know, it's ups and downs all the times. You in terms of Andrew Moloney, you've been chasing Cal Yafai, who got taken to pieces by Roman Gonzalez, and then he was sort of made world champion, and then there's coronavirus. He signed for Top Rank last year. It's, you know, a roller coaster would be an understatement for the boys at the moment, and obviously right. Jason, how are they getting on?
Yeah, I live in the West Coast in Perth. Yeah. And they live over in the virtually in the Gold Coast in Queensland, which is but they're actually in New South Wales on the border in Kingscliff. Yeah, and I get calls from their trainer. I'm in talks with their trainer every day, who's my partner in the boxing, Angelo, and he just tells me every day these guys are just improving at a sight. Like they're so excited about the next fight, and the levels that they've improved is. I just can't wait to see it all put into action. But again, it's difficult now with this coronavirus because Jason's got a baby girl that's 1 year old, and Andrew's baby boy is 6 months old, and they're waiting for the next fight, so they're doing a bit of labouring until the fight comes through.
Wow. Well, fair play to them. So they're doing a bit of labouring on the... So construction's still going ahead in Australia at the moment. Is that... Because I know the building sites were open in the UK, but then they did shut them. I don't know. I'm getting a bit mixed up. I'm reading like 4 different nationalities news at the moment. So that's what's going on. Go on, mate. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say I can't answer that properly either, because there's been another press conference today, even last night, with the Prime Minister, and every state is all different as well. So it's really hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah, that's a big old island, Australia. Yeah. So in terms of, you've got slightly different rules to what your 2 premier fighters have. That's quite strange. Although you're in the same country.
Say that again, sorry?
I was going to say, you've got different rules because you're on the other side of the country. You have completely different, not completely different, but slightly different restrictions than your 2 sort of premier fighters at the moment. That must be quite strange.
Yeah, that's right. It is bizarre.
Yeah. I suppose what can we do? In terms of just before we go, I wanted to ask about how that deal with Top Rank got made. I see a lot of the real high level boxing journalists out there seem really excited about the Moloney boys sort of, you know, starting their American adventure. How did the whole Top Rank thing come around?
We're actually in talk with Top Rank for pretty much close to a year, going back and forward. And, you know, the boys were having their fights over here, but, yeah, we're talking with Todd DeBuff, and then one of our good friends in America, Don Majeski. He was speaking to Bob as well. And, then after that, we'll start talking to another guy from Top Rank, which how we finalised everything, and he's a really, really good guy, and I can't praise him high enough. He's I was going to say answer. It was Harrison Whitman.
Okay.
And then it all got finalised from there, and but it was just a bit of a process. But yeah, they're great guys to deal with, and very. Yeah, and they're just excited about getting the boys to just starting everything.
Is that is that where you wanted them to go all along, or were there other offers? Were you looking at everything? You know, were other people sort of circling round, other promoters, thinking these two boys could do a lot for our promotional company, or was it you got the sort of the interest from Top Rank and you sort of just pushed that avenue? How did that go?
Yeah, there was a few offers as well. I won't mention any other names, but we virtually had a deal done in principle with Top Rank, and you know, in boxing, I only like to deal with good people and people, you know, they honour their word and all that kind of stuff. And we're talking with some other people beforehand, and then everything went a bit cold, and then we spoke with again with Top Rank, and we had everything just about finalised. And then this other group came back and offered us more money not to sign with them.
Really?
And I said, "Oh, it's too late now." Wow. We haven't signed the contract, but we've agreed to it, and you know, I've given my word that that's going to be done, because everything that we wanted and agreed upon was all pretty much set in stone.
Excellent.
So,
wow. Crazy times. Okay, mate. Well, I was delighted to see them sign up. I think it's a good move for Top Rank. I think both boys offer a lot. Mate, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add. I can't really promote your next show in the interview because we don't know when it is. But I hope. Yeah, go on, mate.
I'll just interrupt in that. In saying that, hopefully, one of our next shows in Chile is going to be at one of the casinos. That's in the talks that we've been in. And there was actually a potential, wait and see, that there was going to be a world title on the line as well. But
nice.
Not actually one of our guys, but one of our guys, one of the sparring partners for the Crocodile Campos.
Oh, so, okay. So,
but that might have changed now, or who knows, because everything's so much in the air.
Literally everything is in the air. Every way of life is really up in the air. Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, do we, mate? Well, hopefully we can get shows back on again. I don't really want to, you know, I think the Moloney brothers are too good for labouring, personally. Nothing wrong with it, of course. But, yeah, man, it's mad. It's real madness. Right. We've got world champions turn into labouring. I hope Australia's going to be okay. Obviously, I hope everywhere's going to be okay. Thanks so much for talking to us, Tony. I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to add before we ended the interview, my friend.
I just want to add one thing, and just for everyone that's listening to the interview after, just want to say thanks to yourself, because when the fires in Australia were happening and the coronavirus, you were the first person to reach out and just make sure that everything was all good and I was okay, and just want to say thanks for that.
No problem, man. No problem, man. It's so you've been more than good to me, Tony. So yeah, I hope everyone's going to be okay as well. Hopefully, we're going to be doing another interview very soon, talking about fights happening. But yeah, just thank you so much for talking to pro boxing fans, Tony.
Thanks, mate. I really appreciate it.